Chelsea Football Club are hit with a massive boost as Victor Osimhen apparently only wants Chelsea. That's according to his agent, Noni FIRES. Big interview, big exclusive, we'll break it down into little details. The FA Cup draw brings Chelsea Leicester City at home. If you can't beat a championship side to get back to Wembley and prove a wrong, you don't deserve to go back to Wembley. We're going to talk about that. Noni hits back at a fan, or if you can call him that, on Instagram publicly over his performance last night. Looks like I wasn't the only one that was upset with his performance, but there's a big difference. I don't go and make sure Noni sees it. You can't be doing them things. We'll see what he said. And finally, journalists these days aren't doing their primary role. For me, a journalist is meant to be there to do three things. Number one, give you context. Number two, give you insight on something you didn't see. And number three, give you exclusives and the truths regarding stories. Well, it looks like there's a certain journalist that has decided to bash Mudryk and Caicedo after yesterday's performance to praise Conor Gallagher in an indirect way to get clicks. Well, you know what? You're going to get your clicks. However, I'm going to belittle your article because for me, I think it's pathetic. I need to talk about this, and I see that this is happening. The more and more Chelsea are losing games, the more and more our players are getting attacked for their transfer values. And what's happening is it's creating a massive divide, and I'm going to explain what that divide is. But before we get started, I need you lot to do me a massive favor. Hit the like button. We're aiming for 1,000 likes on this video. Number two, subscribe if you're new. And number three, hit the bell notification and go watch any of the other old videos that I've released because I think you'll enjoy it. Now, let's get started. Chelsea Football Club are looking for a number 9. It's not a secret. We've been linked from Gyökeres from Sporting Lisbon. We've been linked with Victor Osimhen from Napoli. We've been linked with Sesko from Leipzig. We've been linked with Dominic Solanke and many other players. Like, it's to the point where we can't even keep up and know what's real or fake. Well, Noni FIRES has been very public with his attempts to bring Victor Osimhen to Chelsea Football Club. Initially, it started with him baiting him on his podcast, but you know, a lot of us thought, you know what, maybe he's doing this for clicks, maybe he's doing this for ratings. Then as time went on, we started getting more news that Chelsea are actively trying to get Victor Osimhen. And Victor Osimhen, for me, is a very good player. I think he is a player that could get 20 goals in the Premier League quite easily due to his excellent finishing ability, his athleticism, his intelligence, his strength, his ability to strike a ball cleanly. He's got all the attributes to be a prolific goal scorer. I'm not saying he's the second coming of Erling Haaland. I'm saying he could be a very good player for Chelsea Football Club. Well, Noni FIRES is actively sitting on stage with Ben Jacobs, and for those of you that don't know, he is CBS's journalist, and Ben Jacobs is one of the good guys. I really like his insight, and I like the way he does journalism. He explains everything in detail and doesn't leave grey. He absolutely tells you everything he knows, and I love that about journalists. Give me the details, don't give me hints, don't give me ideas. And Noni FIRES said three things that were very interesting. Number one, he wants a commission. Because he said he wants 20% because he's going to be bringing Victor Osimhen to London. First of all, everyone was like, this got to be a joke, right? He's messing around. Then he says, Victor loves Chelsea. Victor loves Chelsea and wants to follow in his footsteps like other Nigerians have in the past and play for Chelsea Football Club. Well, we know that is true because we saw on the podcast the respect Victor Osimhen was talking to him with. The respect he was talking to Noni FIRES with, saying how he set the trend. He is one of the first Nigerians to go and play for Chelsea, and he is the example. Then he also spoke about African players such as Michael Essien and Didier Drogba, Salomon Kalou that have played for Chelsea, and how much it means for African players to play for Chelsea because of the legacy that has been set by others in the past. And for me, that is imperative. This is where the detail comes in. This is where you're starting to see a picture of what the desire of why the player wants to come. And finally, he said a point that I think a lot of people don't appreciate. He said there's a lot of interest in for him. However, Victor's been looking at London, and Victor would rather live in London than in Liverpool or Manchester. And he said, but there is tons of competition, Manchester United and PSG. So for me, if the money is there, if the demand is there from Chelsea, this deal is getting done. Noni FIRES is not a stupid man. He has directly contacted Victor Osimhen. He said, I've texted him about it numerous times. This deal is going to happen if Chelsea can make the FFP side of things work. That's my personal opinion. Let me know. On the other side of the argument, we've got Noni FIRES now. And Noni FIRES' performance yesterday was really annoying for me because the one thing I demand from my players is effort. I don't think running around, sticking a foot in off the ball is a lot to ask for. I think it's the intangible. And when the intangibles are there, you need to step up. Like for me, because once you do the intangibles, you don't have people getting it. Guys, you know what I have on this platform? I've got a rule of respect, right? I tell you, I call players out on my own accord. If they come and watch my channel, if they come and see what I say, that's their decision. I'm forcing nobody to watch it. But the one thing I never do, I never at the player, nor do I go under their comment section or into their DMs and tell them what I think of them in a negative light. If it's positive, I'll do it. And I never DM players anyway. It's not my scene. I will literally at someone and say, great game today, keep up the good work. It's always positive. I don't do the negative stuff because I wouldn't like it if someone was DMing me abuse. Oh, your videos are crap, or what I do in my day job is crap. Because I just don't think I get paid enough to take that abuse. And it looks like someone crossed the line with Noni Madueke. Noni Madueke, after the game, had a few comments. And Noni hit back. And you know what? I think it's immature of him to hit back, but I fully understand it, you know? Every now and then, he must get thousands of messages, thousands of people frustrated with his performance yesterday. And he said, I'm a better footballer than you are a musician, stay in your lane. Or something like that. And for me, this epitomizes my issue with the whole society of fandom right now and the way footballers retaliate. You don't need to do that, because now all of a sudden that guy got his validation. All of a sudden he got pep in his step. Oh, Noni Madueke thinks I'm important enough and he's gonna respond. I told him. No, bruv, you didn't tell nobody. It's just Noni had a bad moment. He most probably was frustrated and he hit back on you. And the reality is, Noni shouldn't have done that because he entertained a clown. Do not retaliate to these clowns. Guys, have you noticed, right? In my comment section, I respond to a lot of people. And the times I respond to people is when they're positive to me. If you're rude to me, and you're calling me names, or you're calling me an idiot, or you're saying I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to football, I just do one thing. I say, you're within your right for your opinion, in my head, and I just don't respond to you. Because I don't need that toxic energy. Because the reality is, if you allow people to be hating on you, it's going to become a trend, and then it'll go bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't need to allow it. I can just choose to ignore it, have a good day, and you keep watching because clearly you're a fan. And in this case, people aren't giving constructive criticism to Noni. It's abusive criticism. So he retaliated. Good on Noni. I'm proud of him. Genuinely, I'm proud of him for sticking up for himself. But at the same time, I understand that this person's going to come back and do it more. So don't retaliate. Trust me. So the final thing that we need to cover is Chelsea have got Leicester City in the next round of the FA Cup. Guys, like I said in my video yesterday, go and check it out if you want the match review where I analyze the game where we beat Leeds 3-2. Chelsea Football Club at this moment in time have got one thing left to play for. And this could change if results go in our way and somehow we go on a big winning streak where we win 3 of the next 4 and all of a sudden we collect 9 points from 12 and then some results go in our favour and it's like, oh, you know what, 5th is back on the cards or 6th is back on the cards. But at this moment in time, our best opportunity to get back into the Europa League and to do something this season is the FA Cup. So as long as we stay in the FA Cup, we have got some kind of optimism for the season to look forward to. And you know what? I think I've been very negative recently. I really have, and it's because that final really frustrated me. It really took a lot out of me and I was very annoyed. However, we need to remain positive. You all know my thoughts on Pochettino. We don't need to relay it. What we do need to do is Pochettino need to develop these players and try to grind out results. If we can't beat Leicester, we don't deserve to be in the semi-final of the FA Cup. Our home time against Leicester is 90 minutes away from you being at Wembley again and you marking a claim of potentially getting Coventry or Wolves in the semi-final. Come on, obvious. That is all in all what we should. Now we need to talk about the Gallagher thing, all right? I think Conor Gallagher got a great winner yesterday, right? And Conor Gallagher secured a good positive win for Chelsea. What I don't like and what I've noticed is happening now is becoming like the old Mason Mount argument. You got the Gallagher fanboys, you got the anti-Gallaghers. And you can't say anything without being put in one of the pots. Whether you're anti-Gallagher or pro-Gallagher. You can't say, oh, you know what, Gallagher's got very good energy. He's good at receiving the ball when he's got time. He's good at striking the ball. He's got good at tackling, good standing tackler, sliding tackler, ability to run, close players down, good presser. But at the same time, he needs to work on receiving the ball under tight pressure, releasing the ball with the right way, using his left foot. You can't do that. You can't critique a player because you're either a fanboy or you're a hater. That's the two avenues getting put on. And now journalists have saw that. And now journalists are using this to capitalize. And they're capitalizing in this manner. And this really frustrates me. A review of yesterday's game was done. And what has happened now is there's this narrative that Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo and Mikhailo Mudryk, because they're the poster boys of this new ownership group that have been signed, and Chelsea have paid a lot of money for them. Let's not beat around the bush. Just need £300 million worth of assets. Now, what happens is every time they play badly, the thing that gets hinted is, you know what, Conor Gallagher, free, Chelsea might sell him in the future to balance the books. Oh, look, maybe homegrown players are the way forward. You shouldn't be buying players. And for me, this frustrates me because if a player has a bad game, call it out. But don't use other players to antagonize fans against the players in the same team. And I'll give you an example. The article from this individual said, Caicedo and Mudryk something like muddling thinking. Highlight Chelsea's muddling thinking or something like that, right? And then the first line is Conor Gallagher comes on to save him, blah, 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 and yet he might be used as the one for balancing the books. He knows exactly what he's doing. There is no articulate thinking there. It is pure trigger content. And that is frustrating for me because yesterday in my review, which you can go and watch, I'm plugging it again. But what did I say? I actively explained to everybody. For Caicedo had a very good game yesterday. He was one of the positive lights. And Mudryk's best game in a while. Yet, Mudryk and Caicedo are labelled as failures. Gallagher, who comes on and gets a great winner. But prior to that, he done nothing. Gets all the praise. Why? Why are we doing this to our own players? Why are journalists doing this? Your job is to add context. Your job is to give insight. Your job is to uncover exclusives. None of those three are covered in what you just did. For me, it's really frustrating because I genuinely believe this guy most probably had a passion for journalism. But the way that things are, he most probably needs to do clickbait for people to click on his article, to either send him abuse about how stupid he is, or for him just to get more views from rivals so that he can just justify, oh, look how many people read my stuff. When really there's no insight or nothing organic happening there. And it's just frustrating for me, but that's just my personal opinion. I know some people don't care. Some people like content like that. I don't want to deliver content like that. I want to give you reasoning behind my thoughts. And like I said, I don't want the fan base to get divided between Cobham players and imported players. Because for me, yesterday, our two centre-backs both had a bad game. Disasi had a bad game, Trevor Chalobah had a bad game. There's no difference for me whether one's from Cobham or one's from France. No, they're both Chelsea players. They both had a bad game, and I'm going to critique both of them. And when Mudryk has a good game, I'm going to say, well done. And guess what? I thought Gilchrist had a good game yesterday. Well done, Gilchrist. Well done, Gusto. I give praise where it's due. But that's just me. So hit the like button. Please don't be negative towards our players. Subscribe to the channel. And yeah, go check out any one of these two videos that you guys want to see. Bye.